If you wanted to steal away early on the Maokai or something like that and play it, then it would remain Fearless Band, but that's not going to be the opportunity here. They just go with the straightforward FlyQuest, immediately getting the power pick. Dragon obviously is because they have the split push capabilities in their draft. They want that grub power for the Rise, for the Sign, for the Pantheon to be able to really put some pressure on the map. And G2, the appropriate response, they will take their Dragon.
Cross map is solid, but very slow and controlled.
Response, Labrov wanted to go for the flash pulverize, then get the headbutt backwards, but it doesn't work out. Now Busio sees Broken Blade coming in for the flank, but he roots him up defensively. FlyQuest bringing in the backup. Montracue hits Broken Blade and Labrov. Broken Blade here on the very front line. Decimate's not going to find him. Caps and Labrov putting a little bit of damage into Quad. They're going to catch him out on the very side of the fight. Miasma to lock him up, but he flashes away. Now Scumon's ready to come in here with a Nature's Grasp. G2, beautiful start to the fight as Bwippo tries to get away, but it's first blood over to Han Sama. Quad very low as he tries to escape, and G2 get a one for nothing.
G2 draw them in. FlyQuest trying to go around this wall here. Bwippo wanted to cut off the Casio that had no flash, but G2 was right there, Vedius, and so they blast him down, and they're going to be able to take this Dragon, unless Masu can snipe it.
Let's see, doesn't look like there's any chance of it. Not gonna happen. I said as soon as we saw it in the draft, G2 Maokai, they play. They're responsible for a lot of the action that happens here. Tier 1 games played though, large difference. Inspired, being around a lot longer than Scumond is now. Looks like Caps has found plenty of damage into Bwippo as the Scion has to try to escape this Cassiopeia. Decimating smash, right in turret range. Bwippo with the solo bolo on Caps. There's a snake in his boot and he's stomping.
Right into tower range.
Right on the edge of the tower range is Masu now. There's no way out of that one. Beautiful angle from Labrov. The Varus might have range, but when the
start to finish. He knew there's still no flash on Caps, so goes under tower, draws him in, he hit the Q, and then goes right in for the ulti there. Let's see what the reaction is. Yeah.
Bwippo's like, what are you doing, man? And Caps is like, what am I doing, man?
And now G2, after their successful plays around the Dragon, after they find that pick on Masu as well, they're feeling really good as Broken Blade's in some danger. Inspired's ready to join here with a Grand Starfall. The Infernal Chain's gonna pull him back a little bit. Broken Blade doing a great job healing up. Decimating Smash finds another stun. Quad's ready, and Inspired gets the last hit. FlyQuest are gonna tie up the kills 2-2, and they're moving on, looking to take the first turret of the game as well. They'll have no trouble doing it. They got 3 grubs, there's no plates. FlyQuest are gonna take that one, and now the next neutral objective or the next kill will secure either one of those feats as well.
Exactly, and now that we are into the mid game, we're really can Labrov find?
All right, Bwippo. Let's see if he can try to get out of this one, but with no ulti, it's going to be tough. Bwippo trying to keep the escape going here, but just turns around, goes for the decimating smash on the Caps. He knows there's no way to escape this one. Labrov just providing enough CC there for Caps and Scumond to be able to take down this Scion. So G2 now claims the feat of warfare.
Simply because all of the damage that was done in the earlier matchup meant that the bot tower was already very weak, while so many resources...
Scumond showed up and provided follow-up lockdown. Quad making his way back out from the base, ready to join up with the rest of the team. The Rift Herald is going to be summoned up mid by FlyQuest, but G2 have already made their way onto the Dragon. Bwippo's going in. Looks like FlyQuest wants to take some sort of a fight here, but the Drake is already going to be claimed by Scumond. Broken Blade taking some damage here in the pit, but he's doing a beautiful job healing back up. Labrov now into the back line of FlyQuest. Masu's going to be punted forward. More damage over the FlyQuest AD carry, but he's getting away for now. Caps has to run. He tries to escape. Nobody's dead on either side here just yet, but a massive force shot coming out from Han Sama. G2 and FlyQuest both hurt, both leaving, but G2 got the big win. G2 is on Soul Point, and they've earned themselves the boots as well.
Right now, FlyQuest kind of harrying them on the outside too, but it's so dangerous. Masu's almost dead.
Masu's at 50 HP. Broken Blade's going over the wall. Masu gets a shield there from Busio as they all try to escape, and now Broken Blade's gonna take a bunch of damage, locked up into the Rune Prison. A little bit more damage would have done it, but FlyQuest don't have it.
What is going on right now? Everyone is just so low.
The sentence, but Han Sama has completed Infinity Edge on the Jhin. Absolutely massive on that one. As Bwippo finds Caps here, jumps right back in for the ulti. There's the Inspired ult, and he knows this time he's ready. He turns his back. He prevents being turned to stone, and they find the pick onto the G2 mid.
An excellent punish from FlyQuest. A nice little bait and trap set up by Bwipo to quickly follow up with the Pantheon ultimate. G2's now lost a lot of damage, and they're not in a position to be able to collapse on the Artican.
All right, FlyQuest taking this objective, and G2's not even going to approach. Hansam is nearby. He'll fire off a deadly flourish, I'm sure, to just try to see if he can get the 1 in 100 chance to maybe snipe it out. There should be no world. It got down to 26. If there was a deadly flourish...
Here comes Caps. He used the Hex Gates to get there. Labrov is pretty far in base.
Okay, Bwipo here on the very front line. Skumon going to take a little bit of damage there from the Mantra Q of Busio. Quad looking for a bit more. Caps takes a chunk.
Labrov.
FlyQuest with control over the river right now. Labrov off to the side. He has regenerated his HP, but now Skumon is down to 1/3. Inspired makes the engage on the Caps, and the Cassiopeia is already down. G2 have lost their cannon, and they're about to lose the ship. FlyQuest go in with a massive realm warp, and they're ready to chase down the rest. Labrov is caught, and it's beef for dinner. FlyQuest are eating good.
I feel like Labrov was so late on his reset back to base that it allowed FlyQuest so much time here to get poke off early. They got early health leads, and then they jump again onto Caps. They take down the Cassiopeia, and they will put a stop to the Dragon stacking.
I think Masu's positioning was fantastic, just to see how G2 reacts. And Quad now out of position.
Yeah, Quad is in some serious danger. Labrov ready to set it up and catch the rise immediately into the petrifying gaze. Quad using his arm guard for a whole lot of nothing. It's a kill plus a wasted active, as FlyQuest had nobody around in time to try to back him up. G2 with a huge pick onto the FlyQuest mid laner, now trying to make an approach towards the Baron as Busio and Masu try to pelt them with skill shots on their approach. Bwipo and Inspired making their way up, but keep your eyes on Broken Blade. He's coming around from the side, but Inspired's ready to intercept him. Busio trying to get away. He's caught at the very edge of the Nature's Grasp. Broken Blade is low, but it does not matter. He's Aatrox. He's gonna heal right. Back up. Caps low, but not in that much danger. Seraph's giving him the shield, keeping him alive. Masu still firing. Bwipo and Inspired trying to help. It's a 5v3. G2 make their way onto the Baron, and FlyQuest wants to step up to try to stop it. Masu's the only damage really remaining. Inspired tries to go in, but the Miasma's already ready to try to take care of him. Inspired throwing up the shield. Bwipo and Masu stuck in the pit, looking to deal with the Baron. Inspired going right back in, but he's already going to be knocked into the Guardian Angel. It's stolen away by Masu! 2v5 now. FlyQuest trying to fight back. Broken Blade wants to get away. Inspired back to life for the Guardian Angel. FlyQuest with the miracle resist at the Baron pit.
Staying well away from the threats, trying to remove the smite on the side of G2, forcing Skumon to flash over the wall, and now the smite is gone. Even though Inspired loses his life, he has the GA, and now it's a race to try and last hit the Baron.
He has the Q. They pop it there. Really big props to Inspired.
They get hit on G2.
And he's got the Axiom Arc as well for more ultimates to just keep throwing it out, looking for more, but Labrov is looking.
Masu getting caught. This is massive engage coming out from G2, but Caps takes a lot of damage before Masu dies. Bwipo's made his way onto the G2 mid laner. Labrov and Caps are both low, but Caps still standing for now. Finally going to be brought down. Busio taking the kill credits as Labrov wants to use the Crouch as an escape mechanism, but it will not work. FlyQuest make it a 2-for-1. They've lost Masu, but they still have Quad for the damage, and Inspired and Bwipo are a hell of a front line. The tier 2 turret here on the top side will fall as FlyQuest continue their push. The Baron may have worn away, but they've got a full wave, and they've still got all 3 Void Grubs to assist with the pushing. G2 scrambling to defend here in a 3v4. Broken Blade and Hans trying to keep them away, but they just don't have the damage. FlyQuest forces their way into the top lane. They'll take out the tier 3, but they'll leave the inhibitor standing. They're trying to cover for one another as they make their retreat, make sure nobody gets caught, nobody gets left. Does continue to bleed after that. Remember the side effect of the Death's Dance. Bwipo trying to look for an angle here. Charges in after Labrov. The Alistar is going to be the target. Bwipo's here in the front line, but now it's Inspired into the back line. Hansama with a flash away. Inspired looking to put the pressure on. Throws up the shield. Staying alive for now. Still has Guardian Angel. Doesn't have to spend it. Caps makes his way into the fight with the use of the teleport. G2 fighting back. Skewmon looking for the back line of FlyQuest. Whippo's here in the front, but he's tanking a lot of damage. Skewmon putting the pressure on, but the firepower from FlyQuest is massive. Skewmon barely staying alive. The curtain call is open, but the show does not go on. FlyQuest continuing to retreat. Broken Blade wants the Q2, but he won't hit the sweet spot. FlyQuest, don't lose anybody. G2, don't lose anybody, but it's still FlyQuest with control over the Dragon.
Yeah, they're resetting. Inspired's coming right back out now, so they should be able to get this Dragon as well. Not open it up for a possible G2 soul, but they're going to move for Baron.
Baron, yeah, like, Quad hasn't had a chance to reset. He doesn't have his TP available either. The fact that G2's forcing it, they know that they can do this super fast thanks to the Casio.
Okay, Broken Blade has made his TP in. Whippo's already charging forward here with the ulti. The Baron down to about half HP. FlyQuest coming around. Remember, Inspired still has the Guardian Angel. Whippo here in the front. Nice punt away coming out from LeBron. G2 still going in, looking to take the Baron. It's secured by Skewmon. G2's going to try to fight their way out now as Skewmon is locked up in the room prison. And FlyQuest bursts him down. LeBron has the unbreakable will, but FlyQuest will break him anyway. FlyQuest now with a 5v3. G2's got the Baron, but you know FlyQuest is going to look for something in the base.
I mean, G2 do deny the objective, but it is FlyQuest that have the numbers advantage. They've been winning out every single one of these fights. And while the last one was very close and all was really dying, a lot of summoner spells were used. Flash and Cleanse, unavailable for Hansama. While the Flash is up for Caps, I feel like FlyQuest don't have to hesitate.
Nope, they won't. As soon as you say it, Benny, Caps is already under the pressure from Inspired. Another Grand Starfall makes its entry. Another death for the Cassiopeia. FlyQuest will claim the mid lane inhibitor as Hans opens up the curtain call. He'll try to clear the wave a little bit with it, but Inspired doesn't care. FlyQuest in a 5v2. Hans and Broken Blade, nowhere to go. FlyQuest now onto the Nexus itself as Hans is forced back into the fountain, and FlyQuest take game one.
Insane performance from Inspired, the MVP of the league. So thinking about the executes on Cassante, locks it in. The Garen execute is effective if you get ulted.
So for those of you who might not be familiar, because we haven't seen it in a little bit here, at least not at home in the LTA for us, Garen.
FlyQuest do still have positioning on the lane, though. Of course, they do have that ranged advantage. But you're right in saying that there's a lot of expectations on both these top laners' shoulders. It was Whippo that came out the gate swinging in game one. The health bar's getting lower and lower. Oh, keeping your eyes on Inspired here. Look, he's setting up for an invade. He's trying to steal away that Gromp.
Oh, very early.
Get it.
Nicely done from Inspired, but now in the bottom lane, Boostio's about to die! First blood over to G2! Nicely done, as Masu wants to try to get something back, but the only thing he's gonna get is a trip to the graveyard! This time around, though, it's Hansama. He's up in farm, he's up in kills, he's up in gold, and now he's valking in after Whippo, who has to turn around and run. Yes, you are a Garen, yes, you're up in levels, but you're in a 1v2. Now Quad in some danger as Caps
I've not seen this type of performance from them for a while. Whippo level 6, the cavalry's coming in.
Yeah, Whippo still ready to try to turn this one around. Lebrov gets silenced, but he's not worried about it. Full health still on Hans and Lebrov both, as Skewmon is chased out of the Dragon Pit by Inspired. So FlyQuest, despite hemorrhaging these early kills, will at least take the first objective, forcing the enemy. But you can see G2 hanging around. There's nothing else to look at in the other side of the river, so G2 are gonna look at this instead. Busio gets crashed down on by Lebrov, but Masu misses the center route. Hansama is here, level 6 on the Corki. The Rocket Poke can be very, very devastating. Han's gonna try to steal one of those grubs away there with a Phos Bomb, but it doesn't hit with the timing. Now that last grub, the target here for FlyQuest. Whippo's coming up around the side. FlyQuest looking to go in as Quad finds the engage. Follow up there with a Cyclone, and Hans is already down. Nice damage coming in from the Wukong, but now Caps is between worlds. Lebrov is low. Caps has to go back over the wall, and Broken Blade has found his way into the middle of the fight, but Busio is already out. FlyQuest, get a kill, get the grubs, and get everybody. There's always one off of cooldown, and Broken Blade is making sure he doesn't give Whippo any more ticks on the spin. G2 starting up the second Drake of the game, now immediately turning for the engage onto Inspired. He drops the clone, he tries to get back away, and Skewmon's gonna be killed instead. Masu rotates into the fight, and Quad and Busio are looking at Labrov. Hans Sama flying away as Busio and Quad go on a magical journey, and Labrov gets away to safety underneath the tier 1 turret. Hans Sama continuing his retreat. G2, they thought they had the trigger pull, but it was a trap trigger, and Inspired ends up baiting him in.
The counterpunch from
FlyQuest got all 3 grubs, did take a significant amount of a beating. That means that if FlyQuest can secure that, they'll earn the boots there. Bwipo starting to use the spin before Broken Blade enters into the scrap there with a Pathmaker, but it's G2 who want to find the kill here onto the Garen. Immediately, Skewmon makes the engage. Bwipo is low, flashing away, trying to finding some sort of an outplay, but immediately Broken Blade goes all out. Skewmon, though, trying to get himself away as Busio wants to get one back, but the kill credit over to Caps is right where G2 wants the money.
Strong play there from G2 up on the top side to get it and get out. They, as you say, it does cost them 1 flash. Now Busio in the middle.
Nice play coming out from Labrov, and immediately Broken Blade looking to slam Busio back into the wall, but Busio with a 2-man stun, ready to set it up as Caps goes between worlds. Busio gets away underneath the turret. The tempered fade is perfect. Inspired, needing one more hit on Labrov. He'll get the kill. Busio stays alive. Inspired about to die to Hans Sama. There's dead bodies on both sides as Quad keeps chasing Hans, but it won't matter. There's no more opportunity here for a kill, and Caps
under the tower here with the double ultimate, and then right after he comes out, Caps goes for the Q and flashes, but on the bottom side, you do have to point out on Sama.
Giving you a little bit more value around the poke. I personally still prefer the Trinity Force. I just think it spikes harder in the mid game, and we'll see if it comes to fruition now as the root comes through.
Yeah, Labrov getting bound up. Chain CC, he can't press up.
Off to advantage, and G2 making these mistakes where they're just out of position, and FlyQuest doing a really good job of finding them and
force one. It could be your opportunity to take the lead.
Busio hovering here too. Watch out for the Bard ultimate.
Inspired, gonna find Skewmon there as he clones back over the wall, but now Quad could be in danger. Immediately drops the combo onto G2, but instead it's the full engage. Tempered Fate looking to stuff that engage now as Hans Sama's under pressure, but Inspired has to try to get away. The Senna ulti over the top, as now the turret is destroyed into the bottom lane at the same time. G2, they get the shutdown back on Quad's Annie. It's 1 kill so far, 1 kill for G2, nothing for FlyQuest. 1 turret for 1 across the rift, but G2 got it first, so they earn first turret, they earn the feats, they're gonna drop the rift turret in mid lane as well. The play favors G2.
Yeah, the getaway driver there. Broken Blade jumps in the rift herald, and with the increased turning radius there, just cruises on through to safety. G2 get their play, they get out. Bwipo, of course, after the teleport up to answer, does at least go for that trade. Does come into play, because looks like he is going for the Black Cleaver build. Does have Wukong as well as the Garen on his team, so gonna try and shred for the squad.
You have no idea that this is going on right now. They have a suspicion.
Broken Blade's smelling something funny up here in the topside river, as G2 are going to show up, and they show up with enough men in enough time that FlyQuest does not feel confident finishing the objective. At the same time, G2 did grab that turret down there in the bottom lane, ties it up at 2-2 in that count. Busio with a nice 2-man binding there. Make sure he can get himself away as Labrov and Skewmon is the question that'll answer whether or not FlyQuest can take this soul. G2 moving up with a full 5-man roster to try to stop it, as Bwipo immediately tries to engage on the Caps and Hans, but Bwipo's going to be isolated. Immediately the Senna ulti trying to reinforce FlyQuest top laner, but he's going to be taken out before anything else happens. FlyQuest in some trouble. Broken Blade here with the front line, goes all out and he manages to stay alive. He's going to kill Quad. Broken Blade popping off. G2 slamming the fight. The target selection was better, and G2 hold on.
In the front to back, it's G2 that holds strong. The idea being that when K'Sante goes in and the Rel is there to follow up, Bwipo immediately turns his attention onto the backline. He says, if I can stop you from following up, then that means that the K'Sante's just gonna die. But that is not what happened. Broken Blade was able to survive.
Jump in power here for G2 as well. FlyQuest is on the approach, but the Otacon is already low. Labrov goes in for the engage on Busio, but he gets away on a magical journey. Broken Blade here to front line now, as Bwipo's already spinning on top of him. The Garen damage is big, but Broken Blade still getting himself away. The Otacon is claimed by G2. Broken Blade still the target. likely to be the sacrificial lamb, continues running, trying to waste as much time as possible here on the FlyQuest side. Broken Blade still clearing the distance. Inspired can catch up, finds the last hit there for the shutdown. Bwippo and Quad are way too far forward. Quad's already going to be killed as Boostio finds a big tempered fate, but Bwippo's going to die now too. Skumon heals with the triumph, but he does not die. FlyQuest solo laners go in alone. Masu and Inspired now ready to try to follow up, but Hansama's already able to make the distance. Labrov with a crash down over the wall, but Inspired ready to
big teamfight win before Dragon, stopping the soul stacking and getting the Otacon. Bwippo is at it again though.
Yeah, Bwippo wants to go in after Hans. Tempered Fate finds the Corki, but nobody else. FlyQuest going in. Inspired ready here with a Cyclone. Hansama's already down. Masu trying to get away from Labrov. Looks for a little bit more damage. If they can kill the Rel too, that's going to be huge. Bwippo goes in for the Stride Breaker. A little bit more damage is there, and Masu's already got the kill. Now Broken Blade about to die here too. It's 3-0 for FlyQuest.
They make the quicker play. They just started out with Bwippo chasing down the Corki versus Europe. Back and forth here, Vedius. Big objectives traded. G2 will still have this power of the Otacon, getting extra
Lucio's Bard to save Masu from what would have been a phenomenal engage on the side of G2. The MasterCard priceless moment of the game, the Dragon Soul for FlyQuest now, but could there be a counterpunch? Quad's in danger. The engage from G2 this time onto the FlyQuest mid. He's gonna die immediately. Bwippo and Inspired looking to turn things around, maybe onto Skumon. A little bit more damage is needed, and Bwippo's already got the kill there with Demacia and Justice. Now Broken Blade still here on the front. Labrov takes another hit over the head from Wukong. Masu has joined the fight. Broken Blade's gotta make some distance, but another Tempered Fate locks up G2. Hansama hit with a binding, but they can't follow it up with enough damage. Masu's got a lot of range on Senna now, and Broken Blade is low. Masu getting himself away as Inspired drops the clone to drop the aggro. Now Bwippo still spinning around, but it's only minions under fire. FlyQuest dancing with the line here between greatness and disaster. G2 low on health, backing up. FlyQuest still with the ban. Caps with the Aurora Burst.
18 stacks on his Medjay Soul Stealer here.
Yep.
And since they got the feats, they also have the upgraded boots.
But we're already into a fight. Inspired finds the engage into Caps and Labrov. Caps gets himself away. Inspired takes a massive chunk, but Labrov is the one whose body hits the floor. FlyQuest with another 5,000 as Hans defends the tier 2. And Broken Blade takes one in the bottom lane at the same time.
Throughout MSI, G2's individuals just get caught out in the mid to late game, and it's no different in this matchup. FlyQuest continues to punish them. Inspired is active on the map, and Quad?
Yeah, Quad's in danger. Stun onto both of them, though, as Quad tries to get away, but Broken Blade is going all out. He's in some danger himself. Boostio trying to lock him up. Broken Blade is all out, but FlyQuest bring more men. Inspired, don't land that. Bwippo chasing after Caps, but Caps just chunks him for 1/3 HP. Now, Bwippo is Garen, level 16. The passive is at maximum value. Inspired goes in for the knockup onto Caps. Forces him to use the ulti defensively to jump away. The Elder Dragon is in 30 seconds. If either side gets a big win here, they can go for that, and you know how threatening that is. Yeah, it's a 2,500 gold lead for FlyQuest, but that's not a lot. The Cloud Soul, obviously, being a much bigger difference maker. Silence under Broken Blade from Bwippo, but now G2 ready to step in. Caps goes between worlds, and Masu's already almost dead. Down to 200 HP. Quad's already eliminated, but now Caps is also dead. Masu continuing to fire. Surviving by 100 was enough, and Labrov is about to die next. FlyQuest turn around. G2, they try to pick Masu. They fall ever so short, but it is just enough for FlyQuest.
The front line for FlyQuest does so much there. The double spinning to winning is able to cut through them, and Masu actually survived the entire thing, kiting back, and with the sustain, and with the peel, FlyQuest
They can walk over the Elder. FlyQuest with a big win in the team fight.
Inspired and Bwippo. You said it earlier, Flowers. It was a tale of two halves, with the top side of...
That's the first time he died in this entire game, but so many times in League of Legends, when you're the guy who's got the weight of the whole game on your back, just
now
one.
with the Baron buff here, FlyQuest pushing in.
Masu, so much power on this Senna, 137 souls. FlyQuest on the push towards inhibitor turrets in 2 separate lanes.
Baron buff on the minions with the Elder Dragon on themselves, so threatening.
And they immediately decide to go in for the engage. G2 under pressure, Dawning Shadow, gonna guarantee the first kill. Scumon's already down and Inspired is legendary. Broken Blade goes all out as Whippo's gonna be in some danger. The shutdown credit goes over to Labrov. Inspired is far forward. He's likely to burn down here, but he's already got the Guardian Angel. Broken Blade continuing to kite out, but it's not enough. FlyQuest lose their top laner, but they'll take Broken Blade and Scumond in trade. Fly, they still have the Baron. They still have the Elder. They still have themselves set up in the enemy base. Inspired, low on HP, stealing away some camps to try to heal back up, while the rest of FlyQuest continues pushing Nexus turrets. Masu has so much range, G2 can't get anywhere near it. The Nexus already under fire. Quad with the engage, the Elder with the execute, and FlyQuest on the game-winning push for match point.
Into the Orianna as well.
Ooh, Caps
Okay.
Akali here when they need it most. Elimination game.
All
That is
right. Caps on the carry. Sticking around, wanting to shove the wave up the last little bit, and it ends up costing him his flash as Scumond is there.
Kind of interesting here because, like I was talking about, like Inspired is covering this route, so they've been trying to trap this.
Oh, but Scumond caught out there by the Tangle Barbs from Busio. Inspired waiting over the wall. One more hit from the club. Some grief to Broken Blade.
Blade,
though.
Secured by Broken Blades.
Yeah, the Feast is ready to go on the Cho'Gath. Masu takes a little bit of damage, but nothing to really be super scared about. Nice Tangle Barbs there from Busio.
It means bottom side is a possible target. You saw Scumond kind of heading down there, but they decide we are... Wait, he's going back to the play now.
Oh boy.
They're going for the maiden first.
Okay. Whippo's maiden at 500 HP. Whippo trying to keep this wave from crashing into the turret. Drops the cage, but Whippo's down to 300 HP. Ardent Blaze does hit him. Scumond taking damage there from the turret. Whippo kills him! Scumond gives a free one over, and Whippo buries him there with a shovel. Now up in the top side. It's one traded back, but they still get the dive. Feat of Warfare claimed by FlyQuest as Boost.
The bottom lane together, of course, you know Masu as well. But Busio, there's been so much talk about his improvements over the years, and he has just been so good in North America and showing it with the map control, a lot of these vision plays, constantly being in the right place at the right time. FlyQuest will come and claim what is rightfully theirs. They have pre-existing vision, waves in very good spaces, and yeah, he's got his flash, so he's kind of staying on range there. They might have seen one of those little dogs as he walks away from the brush. Push up the minion wave in mid lane. That gives you some artificial vision. Then you have the full wards on jungle. And they actually have a couple of options to themselves. Whippo here trading again, and Scumond actually visits. But Inspired is here covering.
Yeah, Broken Blade goes for the rupture. Does not hit it. Whippo getting away, but he's already feast.
Start up and take the objective.
I think that really caught Whippo off guard. He did have his flash available, and I think that he thought that...
Try and go straight through front line.
Okay, the Dragon's already down to 2,000. Inspired gets the shield. Labrov tries to go in. The Drake is already slain by Scumond as Labrov tries to get away, but there's the Pillar of Filth. The Hex Gates activate, but that's not going to matter. Labrov tries to escape, but Masu puts the last shot in his back as that's a fourth kill of the game.
To try and bait out that hook into the wall, and then he saves his pillar for the exit. So FlyQuest, even though they lose that dragon, wait a second.
Quad's in danger, Broken Blade. He has his feast ready. The rupture silences him up, beats him down, and eats him up.
Matchup is not really where you want this Akali to be. Ooh,
Busio in trouble. Pop Blossom as he's about to die. Pillar to make a little bit of extra distance, but Scumond's already got the first kill. Now Masu's the next target. Whippo and Inspired trying to protect their AD carry as G2 comes to life. A 5-man play around the bottom lane tier 1 turret. They might look to go for the dive. Caps coming around from the side. Masu knows he has to try to walk this one out the long way. Labrov and Caps isolated. Labrov trapped inside the Yorick cage. Labrov dies. Teleport coming in for FlyQuest, and now it'll be a 4v4 with the...
Wait a second, they're actually walking on over now towards this.
It's already gone. The Otacon taken in the jungle of G2. Immediately the turret dive would follow if Broken Blade stayed around. Scumond passing through, but his blue buff has already been stolen by FlyQuest.
I mean, Inspired is just running the game. He can literally do
Blade.
Blade. Broken Blade is pretty much all G2 have right now.
Okay, the feasts have been good.
Ooh, no
hey,
flash.
Broken Blade with a knockup. Now G2's going in. They found Bwipo.
Yeah.
This could be the fight they need right there. Caps gets the kill, and Bwipo, wrong place, wrong time. That's the opportunity for G2.
Look at the minimap though. I think FlyQuest are making the right choice. Immediately push towards the mid lane. Set your sights on that tower. Just get more map control. G2 are desperate right now to get a foothold back into this game, and FlyQuest have a lot of options to play with. Good damage done onto that tier 2 in the mid lane, and they also get some vision around the top side. The good news for G2 is that gold gets funneled into Caps, the Akali. Getting that influx of resources is much needed as we get closer to the late game.
And nicely for G2 as well, they rotate Hans and Labrov over to the mid lane in time to keep the tier 2 turret standing. It's not healthy, it's about to topple over, but that's gold that's not in FlyQuest's pocket. So G2 is now up a Drake, but FlyQuest still maintains their 1,500 gold lead with about twice that much value in adaptive force through those flowers that they've got from the Otacon.
Yeah, I mean, that foothold was right there at the standoffs, trying to get the early advantage before the engage comes out.
I like the way FlyQuest are playing on 2 lanes right now. That mid tower is not really defendable.
Whereas Bwipo is still on 2 and pieces.
This next fight, man, I feel like it could very easily go either way. Caps is still top side. He's got his teleport if he needs it. He wants to go after the tier 1 turret to get the gold a little bit closer. He will find his target. Inspired steps forward, but a quick burst of damage coming out from Han Sama. Now Labrov's got to be careful. He finds a dredge line, but he immediately has to flash back out. Labrov is already down. Quad grabbing the kill on that one. Caps makes his way in with a TP. Can he find the flank? Broken Blade flashing away, barely staying alive. Masu jumping in, needs a little bit more damage, and Masu's already got the kill. G2 are going to get wiped off Summoner's Rift. FlyQuest find the moment instantly.
FlyQuest will steamroll G2 as they march towards the Nexus.
It's only Caps left standing. He jumps in, but it will not matter. The last golden statue is buried. The latest chapter of the rivalry is written as an epitaph for Europe, and FlyQuest eliminates G2 from MSI.
Of who wins out on that best of 5.
It was a impressive showing coming out from FlyQuest in this one. I think everybody had big spots of bright moments, right? We look back, we think to that first game, we're looking at Inspired, right? Well, honestly, Inspired kind of had the insane entire series, but Masu constantly finding the angles he needed to find. You think to the final fight in game 2, barely staying alive on the Senna, getting that done. Busio's Bard just completely smurfing all over the place. Bwipo with the Scion kill on Caps back in game number 1 at the very edge of the turret range. Everybody felt locked in. Everybody felt like they had themselves exactly where they needed to be, both on the Rift and in their own heads.
And even though you're gonna have to play either T1 or BLG, those are the teams that you have to beat in this tournament if you want to progress. There are not any softballs,
It's
you know?
true.
And this FlyQuest team has very high potential, and they've set their sights and their goals to look upward.
The tournament only gets tougher from here, but FlyQuest has shown what they're made of. Now it's time to join Lore on stage with NA's own Masu and Busio for the Verizon post-game interview.
Vancouver, please a round of applause for the victorious FlyQuest! Guys, congratulations. What a statement series today. I want to go to you first, Masu, because regardless of the fact that G2 was taking kill, that they were grabbing objectives, you were always one step ahead on the map. Tell me about communication and your spot on macro this series.
Honestly, I'm the ADC, so I have like the least part in it. But I think today we just had some really good swaps in the early game especially. And that kind of led to us always knowing what they wanted to do in the mid game. We were very aware of where they could play, where they could get gold. And we defended very well, and we knew exactly when we were strong and when we could make plays. So that was it.
Beautifully done. And Busio, I was looking at you backstage between game 2 and game 3. First things first, happy 4th of July.
Thank you.
Must feel good. Stomping EU the way you did. You were dancing backstage between game 2 and game 3. What gave you the confidence that you were going to send EU home right after game 3?
Well, it was the 4th of July, so we had to win. But honestly, we didn't even need it.
Matsu, you came to MSI saying that you were the best Western team, but you were not quite confident in the fact that you had reached your ceiling yet as a team. Would you like to revise that statement now?
No, I still think individually I have a lot to work on, and as a team we also do. So
Yeah.
I think we still have a lot more room.
Any more on the improvements that you guys want to make as a team?
Still just like communication, planning, and just playing as a team in general.
All right. Buzio, when I think about your first time on the international stage, last year MSI, we don't talk too much about this, but look at you now. Look at the improvement that you made, both individually and as a team. How do you reflect on your success and improvements?
I'm glad it's showing, but it's just a steady improvement, and more experience is definitely helping me.
Absolutely. Again, statement series from you guys, and you guys were playing, but I was hanging out with your family, actually, during this series. Everyone loves a supporting family, especially in esports. Buzio, would you like to say something to your parents who were cheering for you today?
Yeah, shout out to you guys for coming. I hope it was fun.
And Matsu, we had an interview a couple days ago. You were telling me that you were a bit nervous. You wanted to make your family proud. And I got a chance to chat with your sister during the game, actually. And she was telling me how emotional it was for her watching you play and watching you succeed. Is there anything you would like to tell her and your mom?
Of course, thank you for coming and always helping me and supporting me. And hopefully my sister wasn't too weird.
Of course, a brother had to make this comment. Thank you so much to you both. Congrats on taking this one in your home crowd in Canada. Congrats on winning again on 4th of July against EU. A round of applause for Buzio and Matsu. And guys, that's all for us here on the stage. We'll be right back for the second series right after this.